Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India series.
Great to be back.
Today we're tackling a question we know is on many of your minds. When is the absolute best time to plan a trip to the incredible, sprawling subcontinent of India?
Yeah, that's the golden question, isn't it?
You sent in some fantastic resources about India's, well, its diverse climate and the practicalities of travel. And our goal today is to kind of distill those down to the essential insights.
Help you pinpoint the ideal window for your adventure.
Exactly.
And it's clear you're looking for more than just a superficial overview. You want the details, but, without feeling bogged down those aha moments where things click.
Right.
What's fascinating right from the start, and the sources really back this up, is that there's no single best time for all of India.
No, definitely not.
The sheer range of climates from Himalayas down to tropical beaches means the best time for one place. Well, it can be completely different for another. Yeah, totally different. We've got information here covering everything from those chilly Himalayan peaks to the tropical warmth of the south.
And the monsoon. Can't forget the monsoon.
Oh yeah, the dramatic arrival of the monsoon, and also the explosion of energy that comes with India's many festivals.
Right.
We'll also look at how the weather impacts popular trails, like the Golden Triangle and Rajasthan.
And things like Kerala's backwaters or maybe Himalayan trekking.
Exactly. All to give you a clearer picture of when to go for the best experience. So let's start with some broad strokes, maybe. The overall timing considerations.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
The material we have really emphasizes that timing isn't just a minor thing. It's like fundamental, crucial because of that climate diversity we mentioned.
Right.
So thinking big picture before you even drill down into specific spots, getting a handle on the general seasons is step one.
Okay. So generally speaking, winter, November through February. That seems to pop up a lot.
It does. That period generally offers comfortably pleasant temperatures for exploring a large chunk of India. Think sunshine, manageable warmth. Pretty ideal for sightseeing.
But there's always a but, right?
Yeah. As you'd expect, that lovely weather means it's peak tourist season.
Ah, okay. So crowds and costs.
Exactly. Worth being prepared for higher prices and, more fellow travelers at the big sites.
That's a key trade-off then. Good weather equals more people.
It's a classic travel equation.
Yeah.
Then, flip side, summer. April to June.
And the courses say?
Intense heat. Pretty much everywhere, except maybe the mountains. We're talking mid-30s to mid-40s Celsius consistently.
Oof. Okay, so maybe avoid that unless you're specifically going to, Shimla or somewhere.
Pretty much. Unless you're hitting the hill stations, it's generally best avoided for, widespread travel across the plains.
But wait, there was an interesting point in the sources about wildlife, wasn't there? During summer.
Yes. Good catch. For wildlife enthusiasts, that intense heat can actually be a plus.
How so?
Well, water sources dry up, become scarcer. So animals, like tigers, tend to gather around the remaining water holes.
Ah, making them easier to spot on safari.
Exactly. It increases your chances. So if seeing a tiger is top of your list, maybe braving the heat is a calculated risk or choice.
That really drives home the point, doesn't it? The best time is so personal. It depends on what you want to do.
Totally. Then we have the monsoon, usually July to September, roughly.
The rainy season transforms the landscape, I gather.
Oh, absolutely. Everything turns this incredible, vibrant green. It's quite beautiful. And it often means cheaper travel, too. Fewer tourists.
Okay. Cheaper sounds good, but what are the downsides? Rain, obviously, but...
Yeah, rain, but also humidity can get quite sticky.
Right.
And there's the potential for localized flooding, travel disruptions. Roads might be affected. Some outdoor stuff might be off the cards.
So flexibility is key if you travel then.
Definitely. You might save money and see a really lush side of India, but you need to be prepared for things not always going exactly to plan.
Makes sense. Lower prices versus potential logistical hurdles. Okay, so that's the overview. Should we maybe zoom in on specific regions now, like the north?
Yeah, let's do that. Northern India, we're talking places like Delhi, Agra, Rajasthan, the classic tourist circuit for many first-timers.
Okay. And for that area, winter still seems like the winter, right? November to February.
Absolutely. The sources describe this time as cool and pleasant. Temps generally around, say, 10 to 25 degrees Celsius.
Perfect for wandering around forts and monuments without melting.
Exactly. Ideal conditions. Then comes summer, March to June.
Which we already know is hot.
Brutally hot is how the sources put it sometimes. Yeah, 30 up to 45 degrees Celsius.
Hmm.
So you're looking at indoor activities or heading somewhere cooler during the peak heat of the day.
Right. And the monsoon hits the north too, July to September.
It does. Brings humidity, unpredictable rain, though sometimes not as intense or prolonged as in some other parts of India.
Okay. And there was mention of October, post-monsoon.
Yes, October often gets highlighted as a really good shoulder season for the north.
How so?
You get this nice combination, typically. Warm days, but the nights start to cool down, the humidity drops off from the monsoon. It can be a really appealing time.
Ah, potentially fewer crowds than peak winter too.
Potentially, yeah. It's definitely a window worth considering. Okay, shall we shift south? Kerala, Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, let's head south. Very different vibe down there, I imagine.
Definitely. So the south generally has its main dry season from, say, November through April.
And temperatures then?
Warm, but usually manageable. The sources mention around 25 to 35 degrees Celsius.
Sounds lovely. Good for beaches, backwaters.
Exactly. Ideal for exploring Kerala's backwaters or chilling on the coast in Goa or Kerala. But the monsoon is a bit more complex in the south.
How do you mean?
Well, there are actually two main monsoons affecting different parts. The main one, the southwest monsoon, hits from June to September.
Okay. And that affects?
Primarily the west coast.
Mm-hmm.
So places like Kerala get heavy rainfall during that time.
Right. And the other one?
That's the northeast monsoon. It comes later, roughly October to December, and it mainly affects the east coast.
Ah, so Tamil Nadu, Chennai, that area.
Precisely. They get their main wet period then.
Yeah.
So even within the south, your timing needs to consider which coast you're visiting.
Good distinction. Okay, that regional breakdown helps. What about looking at it month by month? January, for instance.
January really highlights that north-south split we talked about.
So North India is?
Chilly. Well, cool. Maybe 7 to 15 degrees Celsius. Great for sightseeing without the heat, but you'll need layers.
And the south?
Beach, perfect. Kerala, Goa. Temperatures in the comfy 25 to 30 range. Ideal.
But January's peak season, right? We need to remember that.
Absolutely. Peak season, pretty much everywhere popular. Expect crowds, book ahead, prices will be higher.
Okay, moving into February and March.
February is often flagged as, like, really good. Comfortable weather, almost nationwide. Arguably one of the best overall months if you want to cover different regions.
Sounds like a sweet spot.
It can be. And March. Temperatures start to climb a bit, but it's still generally pleasant across the board. Plus,
Holy?
exactly, the festival colors often falls in March. A totally unique, vibrant experience.
Though maybe a bit intense for some, all that color throwing.
It can be. It's
Yeah.
amazing, but yeah, very immersive and energetic. The sources suggest checking it out in smaller towns for maybe a slightly less overwhelming, more authentic feel sometimes.
Yep.
Good tip.
Good tip. Okay, then April, May, June, summer heat time.
Yep, that's the peak heat we discussed. 35 to 45 Celsius in many areas. Hot, hot, hot. Avoid the plains and cities unless you have to be there or you're heading for the hills.
But remember the wildlife exception.
Right. Best time for wildlife sightings in many parks as the animals congregate near water.
Got it.
So it's that trade-off again.
Got it. Then July, August, September, monsoon.
The heart of it. Landscapes turn incredibly green, which is beautiful. Travel can be cheaper.
The potential downsides. Humidity, rain, possible floods, travel hiccups.
Exactly. You need that flexibility. It's a different kind of trip.
Okay, now let's tie this to some popular itineraries. The Golden Triangle, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur maybe, with a tiger safari.
Right. Classic trip.
Yeah.
For that combo, the sources are pretty clear. October to March is your best bet.
Why then specifically?
Pleasant temperatures for all that sightseeing in the cities, plus better chances for spotting tigers in places like Ranthambore National Park. The weather's just more reliable.
And definitely avoid.
Avoid June to September for that specific route. Too hot before the monsoon, then parks might close or roads get tricky during the rains.
Makes sense. What about a classic Rajasthan tour? Udaipur, Jodhpur, the desert cities.
Similar window, really.
Yeah.
Ideal from November to February. That's when the desert heat is at its most manageable for exploring those amazing forts and cities.
Comfortable desert temps.
Exactly. And the sources mention considering stays in those converted palace hotels.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing. Bit of heritage luxury.
Definitely adds to the experience.
Okay, and Kerala's backwaters. Those houseboats.
Interesting options here. The monsoon, June to September, offers really unique scenery. Everything's super lush, green, maybe fewer boats around.
But potentially rainier cruises.
Potentially. For more predictable weather, calmer waters, the dry season, November to April, is generally seen as the prime time. More reliable sunshine.
Right. So a choice between atmosphere and predictability.
Sort of, yeah. And for the adventurous types, Himalayan trekking.
When are the views best?
Generally, April to June is highlighted. That's typically before the monsoon clouds roll in and obscure those incredible mountain vistas. Clear skies, amazing views.
Okay, good to know. Now, festivals. India's famous for them. How do they fit in?
Timing your trip with the big festival Holi in March, Diwali usually October, November, Pushkar Camel Fair in November, Onam in Kerala, August, September, can be absolutely unforgettable, a real cultural immersion.
But peak season again.
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
These big festivals often coincide with good weather periods or holiday times, so expect higher prices, book way in advance, and be prepared for crowds.
That's the trade-off for the experience.
It is. And like we touched on with Holiday, the sources sometimes suggest smaller towns for a more, perhaps authentic or less chaotic festival experience. Worth looking into.
Right. Finally, a quick word on trip length and cost. How long do people typically need?
For first-timers, given India's size and, let's be honest, sometimes challenging travel, the sources generally recommend at least 2 weeks. Minimum.
Yeah, I can see that, just to scratch the surface.
Exactly. And cheapest times to travel.
That would be summer and monsoon, right? April to June and July to September.
Generally, yes. That's when you'll find lower prices on flights and accommodation. But as we've hammered home, you need to be prepared for the weather extremes, the heat, or the rain, depending on where you go.
It always comes back to that balance, doesn't it?
It really does.
Okay, so to try and wrap this all up for you listening, the best time. It really, truly depends.
It hinges entirely on where you want to go and what you want to do.
Right. If it's the Golden Triangle, Rajasthan's history, winter months are probably most comfortable.
November to February, generally.
If you're dreaming of southern beaches, Kerala's backwaters, the dry season, November to April, is likely your best bet.
Yeah, more predictable sunshine then.
Wildlife fans might need to consider braving the summer heat for those better sighting chances.
A calculated decision, as we said.
And if you want that incredible festival experience, you'll likely be traveling during peak season, so plan accordingly.
Book early, expect crowds, embrace the energy.
Hopefully this deep dive into India's travel seasons has given you a much clearer picture, helped you understand the different factors at play.
And hopefully empowers you to plan an amazing, well-timed journey to incredible India.
If you do decide to travel to India, we actually have a recommendation. 5 Senses Tours organizes culture tours across India, which are immersive experiences.
Yeah, they do some really interesting in-depth cultural stuff.
You can contact them by emailing at contact@5sensetools.com. That's contact at 9cm5senpous.com.
Or you can WhatsApp them at +919 845 67446.
Right. Definitely worth checking out if you're looking for those kinds of experiences.